Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the To Hull and Back podcast, proudly sponsored by Old Zoological Bar and Kingfisher in Hull. I'm your host, Nathaniel, and tonight we've got a full quintet of panel members. Will, Ant, Tom, and Joe join me to talk about sort of our awards for the season, how it's gone. We talked about Rossini last week, but as there's no new manager, I'm sure we'll do a proper episode on that when that is announced. But yeah, we've got a whole category of lists and awards to go through. So, overall, we'll do a rating of the season at the end, but we finished seventh. We've had a little bit of time to reflect from last weekend. Been a pretty decent season, all in all. We'll start with you, Will.
Guten Abend. Yeah, that's been pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it felt pretty good until last week.
It did. There's a lot of negativity, but at least we were sharing in the negativity. There wasn't much debate there. We're all pretty equally annoyed. Season it was certainly one of the ones we've had, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you take it in it's wider context that we finished in seventh place. I don't think any side would say, unless you were targeting automatic promotion, that it was a bad season. So on that basis, yeah, you have to even with the January signings, you have to class it as a success. The only thing about it is that we were in such a good position with games in hand in the top six and managed to let it slip. But at the end of the day, like we say, beginning of the season, we'd have took seventh place. It's just that after January investment, it still feels a little bit like it's something that could have been. So yeah, a good season overall, though.
And Joe, there, you've spoiled one of your awards. You put signing of the season, James Furlong. I'm assuming you're joking.
We'll find out, won't we?
Oh dear. And I haven't got any more segues, but Tom, you're also here.
Wow. That's all I get. That's the only intro I get. That's the only shit I get. Jeez, I'll just leave.
No, please don't, because we've got a lot to get through. So, I don't know whether we're doing it in any particular order. We've debated about adding some categories in, so there'll be some here that you won't have prepared for, but those will be fun. But we'll start with our best game of the season. Not our favourite moment of the season, because that's something else, but the best whole game this season. Well, Tom, as I was so rude to you, I'll let you go first with.
I know. In terms, I've got a couple. To be fair, I can't pick one. I think in terms of
pick one.
No, so I'm going to go
the whole point.
But I'm going to go whole.
Well, there could be honourable mentions.
Yeah. So in terms of the actual most entertaining game I've seen, I'd say Hull City 3, Ipswich 3. I know that's not the thing, but I think probably the best game. I think when we beat Southampton 2-1. I think just the way we blew them away in that first half. Was really impressive. So I'm going with that game.
Yeah, I had the exact same because that was the point where we were 3 points ahead of seventh. We felt like we just needed to win half our remaining games, and we didn't even do that. It got 3 or 4 wins, maybe even 3 wins since then. But don't want to go into too negative. But that game was crazy because we could have been 5 or 6 up in the first half. And felt like we could have scored more.
I think it was just in terms of we went there and not many people gave us a chance. But obviously, knowing how well we played against the bigger teams this season, we went there with confidence. And that obviously Carvalho was unreal, and second players just bullied them. And yeah, it was really impressive.
Yeah. Did anyone else have the same best game?
Yes, I also picked 3-3 Ipswich because it's the obvious answer, to be fair. It's the most exciting game, at least that I've personally seen this season. A couple of others I'd put up there is the win at Huddersfield away, just because of the actual context of it being last minute, cocking it up and then last minute winning it. And like you said, as already said, Southampton was a good one. And there's been a couple of decent games. Like Wednesday home game, when it got going, was a good performance, as was QPR. And obviously, there's a couple of others like Cardiff and Rotherham. But it definitely has to be the Ipswich 3-all because it was just one of the best games, I think, at the MKM for years and atmospheres as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Joe, what was yours?
I knew the Ipswich one was the obvious one, and I wanted to steer away from a little bit of recency bias. And I went for that Sheffield Wednesday home game that Will mentioned. Once it got going, it was a superb performance. Tufan hat-trick, Aaron Connolly on the score sheet. And I think the fact that was the first home game of the season getting that win over Sheffield Wednesday, I think we had a sort of a bit of a feel-good atmosphere back because we had the Donny game before where we got utterly walked over, and then we had the Norwich game before where we didn't play at our best and were robbed of a point at the end. So I thought that was a big game in terms of silencing some of the critics and some of the doubters that Rosenior and the team had. And it feels weird talking about Rosenior in sort of like a past tense now, that after this season he's not the manager, which is incredibly strange. But yeah, that's what I've gone for.
Yeah, that's a good choice. I mean, and that was a good day for you, hat-trick for yourself, but did you choose that one?
No, I didn't choose that one, and I didn't want to do Ipswich because I knew everybody else would do. I actually went for. I was going to go for Southampton away because I feel like that was a really big statement win. But I tried to actually cast further back, and I've gone for the Leicester away game because just for the fact that they were literally unbeaten, and I think they'd won every game up to that point.
Yeah,
and,
7 wins.
Yeah.
We were the only team to beat them, so it was like that kind of moment. I think got us to a point where we thought, do you know what, we could actually mix it this season, and to go to somewhere like Leicester, who were favourites for the title and eventually went on to win it. To go to their own backyard, win and with a clean sheet as well. I think that was probably the one of the biggest results of the season for us.
Yeah, I think that's a nice set of fixtures there. And then going to another more negative one, the worst game of the season. For myself, I'm going to go QPR away. That was the day that Philogene got injured, and then that made us struggle. And it was the first time we'd lost 2 in a row under the senior. And then that became, in that poor run over Christmas, more common than we would have liked. So that's why I've gone QPR away. I think equally, I don't know when THAB was injured, but
Sheffield Wednesday, after Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah,
well,
you could also pick that
one.
one.
You mentioned that game because that's what I've actually written down 3. And one of them is
I've said Sheffield Wednesday.
The lap injury, that horrendous Morton red card. It was not a good performance before the red card, but then after it was so hard to watch. It wasn't.
I left on 60 minutes because we had to get the tram. So
yeah, I'm glad I didn't go to it in the end. I'm glad I just had to watch it on telly because I nearly went and I'm glad I didn't. The other 2 I've got written down is a game that we've most people have got rid of it out of their minds, and that's the Doncaster Cup game. It was like the second game of the season, was it? I can't remember what it was. That was just. I know it was a weakened side, but that was abysmal. That was so bad.
It's the worst team in the EFL at that point, although they've done quite well now.
And also for a rarity for this season, it featured an Oscar Estupiñán goal in a Hull City shirt.
Like he gave us the lead.
Yeah, we went ahead very early on and we cocked it up. It was awful.
It was Grant McCann as well.
When we went
Grant McCann, to be fair, I want to just quickly say, fair play to him. He got them from a relegation battle all the way to the playoffs. They then bottled it in the playoffs.
Yeah. There were 29 games in, and they were third bottom, I think.
Yeah,
which is 2/3 of the way through the season.
They finished 5th, I think.
Yeah. So,
I just want to say that Donny game, when we went 1-0 up, I thought this is going to be a rout here. Where
I think everyone did.
We'll score a couple.
Yeah, I thought you get a bit of confidence into the players, and then that happened.
Yeah,
and the fair game, I thought Lakilo looked all right.
Yeah, typical. The third game we've got written down, which is probably going to get mentioned by others, and it's probably recency bias on it, and it is the Stoke game because it was a game that, again, it was just a really bad performance. Didn't enjoy watching it at all, and it was a game that maybe wasn't the game that made sure we missed out on the playoffs, but it felt like it was the game that's probably decided it, and it came after a long break as well, and we'd been away in Turkey, and you thought, oh, we'll come back fresh from the break.
Beginning of the run-in.
Get into it, and we shat the bed.
Yeah. And?
Yeah, I said Stoke at home. It's just, it was like, even not just the performance. I mean, Stoke were on a horrendous run at that point. We needed to win to keep the top 6 alive, and we just never looked like scoring. And then that second late goal on just sort of compounded the misery, and the stadium just emptied, and it just felt like the season had finished at that point. I know, obviously, from that point, West Brom and Norwich did keep dropping points, so it kept us sort of hanging on by our teeth for the rest of the season. But no, that pretty much was the nail in the coffin for the top six for a lot of people. And I just think that the sort of optimism for the season didn't renew again up until about the Coventry game. So that Stoke game was poor for just not just the on field, but for the ramifications off the pitch as well. It was a really bad day.
Yeah, grim, utterly grim. And I agree that it felt like that was the end of the playoffs, even though I think it was probably because West Brom and Norwich really underperformed after that. But yeah, we just couldn't quite catch up after that one. Have we all done our worst match? I think we have now, haven't we?
Yeah.
I agree with Ant on Stoke, but yeah, that's that.
Miserable. So, best signing. Now, Will, you've actually gone back and had a look at who we said at the start of the season. A few of us said Ruben Vinagre, which no one's going to be saying that now.
I've got written down the pre-season predictions that we did with Tigers Down Under. And it's worth mentioning, we did them back on July the 29th. Yes. So, well before a lot of the new good signings we got came in.
A whole season, a whole month after that, didn't we?
Well, I think we should go through them at the end rather than split it up, because there's a few different categories in this that we probably are going to discuss.
Yeah.
But there's a teaser for how bad our predictions are later on.
So, Tom, I'll go to you first again.
I'm going based off a few different reasons. So I'm going Philogene just based off the fact you could easily go to Lap and obviously one of the loan players, but I think in terms of Philogene, got it for 5 million now, probably worth 4 times that if we sell him this summer. He's our top scorer. He's produced moments of brilliance throughout the season to earn his points. And I think, he's been a fantastic signing. So, Philogene for me.
Yeah, solid shout. Joe?
I thought Philogene would be quite a common answer. So I've gone for one which I believe is very much up there. Came in January. Fabio Carvalho. 9 goals in half a season. I think games played...
only 19 or something like that.
20 appearances, 9 goals, 2 assists. That's a pretty good return.
Without him, we wouldn't have actually been anywhere near the playoffs in the end. Maybe we would have had Twine.
We all thought initially, didn't we, when he came in? We
didn't need another 10. Yeah, we didn't need a number 10. We was thinking, we don't need another one. But then he's been unreal. So.
But then, in a lot of games as well, it's so weird because you wouldn't see him for. Well, I felt anyway, you wouldn't see him for such long periods of games, and then he'd pop up with a goal.
Yeah, I was going to say that. It reminds me a little bit of Giovanni. He's a luxury player in the sense of he wasn't going to run about and graft that much, but he had a moment of magic in him, especially in the big games, just pop up with something to win you the match. Because I remember saying game after game, Carvalho's done out here, and then he'll just pop up with a screamer in the top corner, and it's just that's what he does. That's what he gives you. But yeah, it's a shame, like we say, we didn't have that link up of Carvalho and Delap from January onwards, because I feel we'd have definitely been at least 4 points better off and made the top 6 with them two together.
Absolutely, and I think he mostly played up front, or at least instead of a number 9, because we didn't have one.
He played a false 9.
Yeah, Carvalho, good shout. Will?
Well, as everyone else said, I hadn't put Philogene because that's the obvious choice, and I think maybe that suggests he probably was the best signing. I wrote down 2 names, but since one of them has already been mentioned in Carvalho, I'll say the other one, which is Abdrish Mer. Purely because since he came in, attacking-wise, on that side, it's something we've missed for a while. Someone who has the low centre of gravity, has the 10 of pace, looks creative, looks fit
versatile
every game,
as well.
Versatile.
So versatile.
He's maybe one that hasn't been the best signing this season, but will probably be good next season, depending on what the new manager thinks of them. But I at least wanted to highlight that I think he's been a great signing so far. It's a shame that he somehow hasn't scored.
I was just going to say, well, that's all he's missing, his goal, isn't
it? Hit the woodwork a couple of times.
He just needs the one, and then I think he'll be more confident. He'll get a few more, but he's much more of an assist man than a.
Yeah, I don't think he scored that many, did he?
No.
He scored that many.
I mean, you said Carvalho was good signing, but who'd you gone for?
Yeah, I put Philogene / Cavalier because you can make arguments for either. I mean, Philogene. I mean, obviously, it's £5 million at championship level is quite a lot of money for a championship club. But like Tom said, his value for selling on is absurdly high. So Roma's certainly going to make an insane profit on him. He's topped the charts for goals and assists together. If he hadn't have had that injury around Christmas time, would we have been slightly better off? I think so, especially through that poor run over the Christmas period, like you mentioned, Nathaniel. Philogene's just been absolutely vital. I think he struggled a little bit when obviously we tried to accommodate Zaroury into the squad and kicked Philogene off the left, where I think he's far more effective. And it was post injury as well, so I don't think we quite saw the Philogene of the first half of the season. But I hope if we can keep hold of him in summer that he'll start next season just as he did obviously this year and be on fire. So yeah, and then like Joe said with Cavalier from January onwards, like his impact was insane. He's like you said as well, Nathaniel. He literally carried us to almost the last game of the season in a top 6 chase. So a shame that we didn't get to obviously have those extra games with him in. But I think he's certainly risen his stock, and I don't think he'll be a championship player next season. That's for certain.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone Philogene as well because we might not only is he a really good player, but he might actually also keep the club financially stable by leaving for the next whole year or more if we sell him for the 30 million or so that Adjan wants to sell him for.
Adjan wants to keep both him and Greaves and give the manager a war chest to bring.
Slightly concerned on an FFP front.
Yeah,
I don't think
can't do both.
Going to quite.
I think
I do think it's probably a ploy to get the price of them both up.
It's very convenient because we all need to remember that Adjan's a very PR guy, and we've just had a lot of negative press about the sacking of Rosinia. A very logical thing to do would be to say we're going to have an amazing year because I'm going to back the new manager and we're going to keep our best players, so it's going to be okay. At the end of the day, if Philogene turns around and says I want to go to the Prem, there's nothing he can do. He's not going to keep him. So it's the same with Keane Lewis Potter. He said, I'll never sell KLP for any price. 30 million, they can go away. We sold him for 16 because he said he wanted to go. So
he said about the age, like, you take your boy. You take your boy.
Yeah, I mean, we will be able to sell one. Of course, if we sell one, the likelihood the other one will stay probably increases in terms of...
I think the chances of us keeping Philogene is actually higher than the chances of us keeping Greaves. I think Greaves is gone.
Yeah, Greaves is still made, I think, already. I think Philogene, in terms of his end product, sometimes can be deceiving, but I think Greaves is ready for the Prem.
I think it's Philogene's decision making. How often do we see him get into such a good position and he overdoes a little bit of skill or fluffs up the chance or...
Yeah, he's hard working as well, but I think sometimes that can be in question. I think his tracking of the opposition defenders and stuff like that. So
yeah, Premier League clubs will be watching him and thinking, in that final third, I want his decision making to improve. So they'll probably give him if he has another storm in 6 months, he'll be gone in January.
Yeah,
but it's I think his end product, and I think that injury might have done us a favour as well. Because if it had continued the season similar with what I think with the lap and our chances of bringing him back, I think his injury has probably done us quite a favour as well because it kept him out the limelight of a lot of teams. But Philogene, I think Greaves is gone. I think his tears at the end were teller for me. I don't think that was for missing out on the top 6. I think that was I'm gutted. I'm not coming to the Premier League.
What's the fee, do you reckon? What do you reckon we'll get? 20, 25?
I say you've got to be 20 million at least.
Ball playing left-sided young English.
I want at least 25 million.
Yeah.
It'll probably be that with add-ons, but you'll get 20 initial, I think.
Yeah, 15 or 20 initial.
We'll be sad to see him go. I think probably the saddest I've been about a player leaving for a while.
Everton are the strongest contenders at the minute, apparently, if you're to believe what's online.
I can tell you for pretty much a fact he will not go to Everton.
I'm surprised they'd be able to afford him.
They're going to sell Branthwaite, aren't they, I think? But even if they do sell Branthwaite, to my knowledge anyway, Jacob Greaves will not go to Everton. Apparently his missus doesn't want to live in Liverpool.
You heard it here first. That's a Hull and Back exclusive from Joe.
Not going to Everton.
Lee Walker will go West Ham. Lee Walker exclusive in the comments.
But I think from what I've heard, his partner Ellie is far more eager to live in London than in Liverpool.
Yeah,
West Ham it is then.
Leeds commented that in. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Join Bowen and they've had a shocking defence this year, West Ham.
I mean, West Ham's defence is average over about 30, 34, so
They're obviously going to have a new manager as well because they want a more attacking style of play. Obviously, Moyes is going.
Probably going to be the manager of West Ham.
Yeah, so a ball playing centre half that likes to step out of the defence. There's a lot of years left to give. Greaves fits the bill, unfortunately, doesn't he? But like I said, West Ham have got money to spend. So
when Jacob Greaves ends up at West Ham, Brentford, Fulham, or Palace, or maybe even Chelsea, who knows?
Palace in a bad show actually either.
You can come back to this and tell me I was right. But when he goes to Everton, please don't come back.
Yeah, I mean they will. And then worst signing.
Can I just say to end that off? You do know now I was joking with James Furlong, but I might just change my band.
To worst.
Well, actually, since you've mentioned him,
and put his hand up. And put his hand up. Let him go first.
Billy Sharp, and any other answer is incorrect.
Agree. Massive agree. Not again. I've said it.
It confused me when we signed him, and it confuses me now. Look, when we initially signed him, no, it's not. When we signed him, the first question from us and from the footballing world was, why? And I still can't tell you why. I can't look. The logic back then that we tried to screw up together to get him in was he might come off the bench and grab us a couple of goals later on in the games.
He didn't.
He didn't do that. We don't play his style whatsoever. He's not a back to goal kind of striker. That's not what he does.
To the other young strikers.
Yeah, he might give experience and help improve their finishing, and that's their other players for other teams. Like we're improving other players for giving Liam Delap a more finished article, giving Man City a more finished article for Liam Delap and helping Connolly, who was out of contract in summer. I didn't get that signing at all. It bemuses me. It was just like Rozzy helping a mate. It's like, oh, do you want 6 months worth of pay, mate? Yeah, sound. I don't get it.
Yeah, absolutely, and not his fault because he was just past it, and he's not going to turn down the chance. But it would have been better for his career to go literally anywhere else, really. I mean, just stay in America. But
I think Sharp's probably the obvious one, but Lakila's probably.
Lakila runs in a close second.
I mean, how often did you see a player sign in the summer and then leaving in January? Like, you've had a bad time when that happens.
Not just leave in January, but sign on loan for the team bottom of the Portuguese Primeira Liga.
Yeah.
He was the worst player we've had this season, I'd say. Lakila was the worst player. Sharp the worst signing because of what it meant for.
It was Lakila was one of them as well though, like in terms of looking at his career before, like he's been like Doncaster and he's not really torn up any trees anywhere, and you're thinking it's a bit of a weird one that was signed him and
a good loan like that in Turkey, and that's it.
Yeah. So
shocking. Will agree, Sharp?
I've got two names written down, and neither of them are Sharp or Lakila.
Well, you're wrong.
You said Vinagre.
Kick him off.
Actually, no, I didn't say Vinagre. I purposely didn't pick Sharp because that is the clear and obvious answer.
Yes.
So I wrote two names down that I think were bad signings. Number one is James Furlong.
Is the second one Bora?
The second name is Bora.
Yeah, but to me, those
are two players. Tell me then, why would you bring someone on loan from a Turkish club and only ever playing for the under-21s? That's an appalling signing.
It seems like an admin wanted to give them a favour kind of signing and give them experience of the English league.
He wanted to see the whole City nightlife, didn't he?
I'll tell you.
The brief times I've seen him play for the under-21s, he looks all right. But why would you sign someone on loan from Turkey from Turkey and then only play for the under-21s?
We'll have made more out of that signing than the Billy Sharp one because we'll have kept that relationship open with Fenerbahce. Whereas
I think we'd have had a relationship with Fenerbahce regardless because
but who keeps it open. Whereas the Sharp one hindered the team. Bora didn't. James Furlong didn't.
But anyway, I disagree with that. James Furlong's for a similar reason. We brought him in to be a left back. We barely ever played him. When he did play, he got injured.
Yeah, true. I think the weirdest thing about the Furlong signing was that we needed a left back. We brought him in, and then he didn't play for a while. And the logic was that he's not ready yet, and then he just never ever apparently was ready.
His left back.
There's been some bizarre signings this season.
Yeah. Can I make a few comments just on those two quickly? Will, you mentioned before we started a little like roulette bingo board thing I did with Marcus, Hullboy, and our mate Lewis. One of the predictions I got allocated on that was Matty Jacob to make his debut. So
that's all right.
I'll take that. I also had, well, we beat Doncaster. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
Longman 5+ Hull City League goals.
Oh dear.
Adama Traore 15+ assists.
Oh
You
dear.
didn't say that. Yeah, you didn't say that, did you?
That one was actually one of my predictions. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, on the Bora front, Bora said himself, it's very unlikely he's back here next season. He fully expects to just be at Fenerbahce, which
Did you ask him why he was here this season?
No. I can't say it was me.
Essentially, he's done.
It's irrelevant.
He's come
We don't
from a
want to know.
holiday in North Ferriby for a year.
What are you doing here? And not in a racist way.
You know, if you hadn't said that, no one would have noticed.
Yeah, that makes it weird.
No,
Can we
it's
miss
the-
it? Can
it's
we add
the
miss of the
office.
season as well?
It's the office.
Miss of the season. Traore v Leeds.
Traore against Leeds, I'll never
Traore
ever forgive him. Never ever forgive him.
Yeah.
Never. He's dead to me.
Fortunately, in some way, if he'd scored against that Leeds, we still wouldn't have got playoffs. So I think he can sleep at night.
No, it's against Leeds. Joe's in the chat. He knows. Joe knows.
Right, he can sleep at night.
Joe loves him.
I completely zoned out for a second there. I was looking for something about Bora that I've got written down somewhere, but I can't find it.
Right, I feel like we've diverted though. We're too much Bora chat. He's not even played for us, man.
Final thing.
Get him out.
Hence why he's one of the worst signings.
Final thing. Will was present for this. They won 6-1 a few weeks ago.
It's Burnley.
Against Burnley, and this is the first game in like 8 games that Bora hasn't scored in. But you know what? They've still won 6-1. Comes out the dressing room. I say hello to him. He's got a face like a slapped ass. Don't quite know what was wrong with him.
He looked fuming.
He did look livid.
Yeah, cool. Well, we've also sort of mentioned the possibility of talking about the best loanee of the season, as in who's done well outside of the club. And I mean, I think, Will, you had an idea for this one, didn't you? Or was it Joe?
Well, it isn't.
I'm going to move this on, so it's an opportunity for you not to mention a certain RL16. What's next on the list, Will?
No, Longman. Ryan Longman was the best loanee of the season. Although really it would be Lo Tutala, perhaps.
Tutala.
It was my choice. Was Lo Tutala.
I'd go Cartwright.
Did he get player of the season?
He cleaned up the awards for them as well.
Yeah. Swept up the awards.
Another good shout, but it ain't Ryan Longman. So just get on to the next subject. You're not.
Well, Millwall want to sign him. Millwall want to sign him permanently. So
let him have
hopefully
it.
we'll give him a nice
Good for the FFP.
You're gonna have to find
I
someone
love
else.
Ryan
Daniel.
Longman, but he doesn't fit in here. Maybe the new manager will
He's
give
not
him a
good
chance. But
It'll be
I like
a
him, but I don't think he'll be here next season. I think he'll
And
be at
nowhere
games.
nowhere near good
Yeah,
enough.
he-
Longman is
He
a
won't be.
lower
We'll
half
have to find another banger
championship
player.
player, top end league one.
Anyway, can
Yeah.
we stop talking about the finals' favourite player
Yep.
and move on to the next
Alright.
player? Next.
Well, we've
He's no
got
longer us.
up next. We've got Unsung Hero, and I think we've got
I'm
some
interested in
interesting
this one.
ones for here. Well, and
Yeah.
if you're interested, would you like to go first?
Seri. I feel like he gets a lot of hate from this because you see, so this is a discussion I've had at many a City game, right? Okay, there's so many people that will he makes like 600 passes a game or something, right? If he misplaces one, he's shocking. Get him out the side, or it's Seri's fault,
but
whatever.
they're the gammons, aren't they? That go to the game.
They don't look at they look at us with him in the team and without him in the team. He's absolutely that key pivot for me that has to play to link defense to attack, and how comfortable he is with the ball in tight spaces, being pressed. And he's even improved this season to the point where he's been asked to press up into the opposition's box, and he's been stealing the ball high up on the pitch, creating and scoring goals from it.
He's got his goals.
So that, for me, Seri it doesn't get enough praise for me. I think he's absolutely fantastic. He's one of the most technically gifted midfielders I think I've seen.
That's a great shout because I'd forgotten. about Surrey. I always forget he's there.
Exactly,
fuming.
unsung hero.
I'm fuming.
Proven.
What was that yours, Will?
Yeah, because I've now proved he's not unsung because he was also my suggestion. Sorry, because he's probably ability-wise, one of the best midfielders in the Championship, and I think a lot of City fans take him for granted because they just assume, oh, he'll do all this and he'll be sorted. But
I think he's one of the few players that you can take off the side and it's a massive difference when he's not there.
Look at when he went to the Cup of Nations as well. Look at how much different the midfield was. He's vital to our midfield at the moment.
I've seen people saying they would,
and that's another. He was also unsung at the Cup of Nations for his previous manager as well, before he got sacked, and then he was put back in the side, and they won the tournament.
That's all you need to know, isn't it?
And was in the team of the tournament as well.
Yeah. Unsung hero for you, Joe?
I was debating Seri, but I thought, well, he gets. I think from the sections of City that I walk in and tweet in and what have you, Seri gets quite a lot of praise. It's just what Tom described as the gammons that go to the City games that don't. So I've gone for Ozan Tufan because I've seen people, for one reason, people have said, "Oh, he's tailed off. He's not had as good a season this year." When the bloke scored 10 goals and got 2 assists.
Yeah.
So it's a debatable one because I think at the start of the season his praises were being sung fine, but these last few days and weeks I've seen people say, "Oh, Tufan's not what he was. Tufan's tailed off. He's still got 10 goals."
True.
I'll be honest. I've not heard a single person do that personally.
I've seen a couple.
No.
No.
Yeah.
For me, Tufan's one of the most sung heroes
to me
of this squad.
Yeah, Tufan's I think he's been
the player who gets his name chanted the most.
Yeah, he's been sort of praised more this season, I think, as well, for the fact that we're seeing a lot more of his work ethic off the ball, like his pressing and his ability to, especially at home when he starts, he runs himself into the ground for like the best part of an hour, and then obviously gets subbed off for somebody else. But obviously when he came in, his question marks where his fitness, like his weight and whatnot. And I think from the point where he's come into where he is now, he's a completely different player. And I think people realise that and see that this season. Like I said, 19 goals in 2 seasons from a midfielder. I know he's been playing striker for large parts as well, but no, I ain't had anybody say how bad about Tufan, to be fair, in a long time. Sometimes he goes missing in like really physical away games. I do think he's more of a home player, but I think he's rated, Tufan.
I think he's rated, but I've picked him purely because I've seen a few little murmurings of discontent, just to sort of show how much I rate him personally.
Fair enough.
Well, there's always some people in every fan base.
Okay. Tom, I mean, I can see someone here has put Alfie Jones. You going Alfie Jones, Tom, or someone else?
I think Alfie Jones is highly rated now. Like more, I think last season.
Last season that would have been the great answer.
I think I'm going to go man from a wider championship perspective because no one really knows who he is yet. But Abdush, I think he's unsung. Obviously, whole City fans rate him highly, but I think Abdush in terms of his technical quality and what he's brought to the league straight away, like to adapt coming from Turkey. Fit straight in his pressing, where like Will said earlier, like the way he can just control the ball, like tight space. I think he's going to be a big player for us next season. I think he's one for the rest of the championship to watch out for.
Yeah, solid.
Yeah, I don't think Omer's underrated though, or unsung. Especially, I think since he's come in, I think we've all absolutely loved him.
I think everybody saw him when a wider championship sort of perspective. I think obviously Hull City fans
from outside.
Yeah, I think obviously Seri's probably the correct answer, but in terms of the rest of the championship, I'll go Emma.
Callum in the comments is begging me to go Emma, but I think he's been pretty sung so far. He probably is sung, but I think the way we talk about City and the amazing signings we've made, I think the unsung hero. Everyone knows, I mean, until the senior sacking, that we like Adrian. So I'm going to go unsung hero Tan Kessler. I think every time I listen to him, he is so important to the way we operate with the transfer window. And I think probably his work, maybe.
Do you think he gets undermined by Adrian there?
Undermined. I mean,
a little bit.
I think the only negative thing we've seen so far from Adjin is the Rossini sacking, and I think Kessler probably does more of the transfer side.
I get the impression that Adjin and Tan's relationship is like Adjin is that very excited, boisterous. This is what I want to do. I'm going to go out and do it. And Tan's be like, no, and sort of grab his coat and bring him back, kind of thing. I remember him saying on his sports talk interview that he was like, he realistically he knows that they can't control everything he says, but he kept referring to Adjin's ambition and how he can't really stop him in doing what he wants to do and things like that. So I think Tan brings a certain aspect of level-headedness to hopefully what is quite chaotic behind the scenes at Hull City.
Yeah, solid.
On a slight sideways one, following on from that, as a non-player one, I think an unsung hero will be the people who look after the pitch at the MKM, because that got into a serious quagmire a good way through the season, and the way it looked come the end of the season was nothing short of miraculous, to be quite frankly honest. And it's getting relayed now as we speak, so thankfully it's a new pitch. But I think what they managed to do with it during the season was really good, considering what it looked like at one point.
Yeah, well, we haven't prepared this one, but the opposite of an unsung hero for me would be who's the most overrated player. And for myself, I'm going to go Ryan Alsop, because no matter how critical people are...
Is he rated?
No. Let me explain. No matter how bad he is, I think there's always more criticism we can throw his way for how bad he's been. So I'm going to go Alsop as overrated on a technicality. So I'm not saying we should go and abuse Alsop directly, but he's been
overrated for me. Is someone that just it's completely rated when he shouldn't be. But
I was going no, he shouldn't be.
Zururi.
I'm going to say someone who is rated.
Regan Slater. Overrated.
No,
that's
for me. For me, the most overrated player, and it doesn't mean he's bad. It just means he's overrated. Is Jadon. People have acted like he's the second coming for City, but he's not. He's very good, but he's not the greatest thing we've ever seen, which a lot of people were acting like for a good chunk of the season.
No, but I mean, he's literally leading our charts for goals, assists. Like he's been.
Yeah, but people are acting like he's better than he is. He's great, but he's not incredible.
He doesn't touch Bowen at his peak for us, does he?
No, but they're completely different players. Bowen was an inside forward striker. Philogene, a flair, expressionism winger that wants to run at people and excite them, get them off seats. That's not what Bowen did. Bowen was just a goal scorer. Philogene's an entertainer.
At the time, and he disappears from so many games when he's not in the right mood.
No, there's definitely room for improvement on him, yeah. But I think you've got to judge him based on what he's done for us this season. He's coming on his first season with us. He's top most charts.
I've just said he's very good, but he's still overrated. I would call the Beatles I would also call the Beatles overrated, but they're still the best band ever.
See, then that's overrating them though, because they're not.
True. Probably. Aqua are the best band ever, you're right.
I think Regan Slater's my overrated because obviously a lot of Hull City fans rate him, but I still couldn't tell you what his best position was, what he brings to the team other than energy. And I don't think he's the player you need in your squad. If he's obviously a squad player, but if he's not going to get in the starting 11 if you're pushing top 6 promotion next season. That's my overrated.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I've seen someone, Paul's said overrated is Giles, and that Matty Jacob should be our left back. I'd say Matty Jacob is slightly overrated in that his technical ability is not quite there just yet.
On Giles, a solid job. I was just going to say it's not something I necessarily agree with because I still think he's a good player who we just didn't see the best of, but he's not lived up to that expectation that we had for him when he came in of this is what he did last season at Middlesbrough. This is his championship record. We haven't seen... We've seen glimpses of that, and glimpses are crosses put into a good area where we haven't had the lap in the box to get on the end of it. But
I think in a different system where he's encouraged to get forward, like overlap, I think it'd be brilliant. Like, I mean, I think his best position probably is like a wing back in a 5,
Yeah,
3-back system.
Yeah, would be. I think for the money, it's not ideal, but I think if you want to sign a left back in the Championship, Giles is going to be one of the top players there. So I think if we sign him on a permanent, I wouldn't be too displeased with that. And I think Jacob, over the course of an entire season, I'm not quite sure if I want to rely on
And I
him
think
just yet.
I'd rather learn him out, to be honest.
Mm.
League 1 club, League 2
Yeah.
club, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. And then I think we have mentioned pretty much most of these players, and for some people it's just going to be the same player as player of the season, but young player of the season.
Yeah, Delahad's come up as well, because I didn't name him as my player of the season.
Yeah.
I think 21 and under is classed as like a young player, in it. Yeah.
I'm taking this opportunity to shine a light on my under-21s passion.
Go for it, Joe.
So, because most of our players of the season are young anyway, I thought we'll dip into the 21s for mine. And I think if this guy goes in the summer, I'll be gutted, because there is a player in here. I've gone for Ollie Green, because he just makes the 21s team so much more complete. He's a mix between Seri in terms of sitting deep and controlling the game, and he's just a little bulldog who's not afraid to get under the skin and shout at referees and give players verbal. And he got into a fight where a Burnley member of staff offered him out for a fight, said he'd flatten him or something like that.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, I remember that.
Was possibly the strangest thing ever. But yeah, he's out of contract, if the club let him go, I'll be gutted, because I think in both him and Rocco coming through, we've got two incredible central midfielders there. And
But do you think he's of the level there? How old? He's like 20 now, isn't he?
Ollie,
20.
Yeah, 20 now. Yeah, I think 2021.
So I think it's that make or break time for him, where like if you're going to do it, you got to go.
It is. But we've seen what's happened when Matty's been kept around a little bit longer, and he's broken through, and it just takes that.
We do need that sort of player there. That if he's able to break up the player in midfield, we need that sort of player. But whether he's the answer, I mean, I'd rather us go sign a defensive midfielder, to be honest. But
I think, as sad as it is, and I don't want to admit it, I think it's highly likely Ollie Green goes, which is a shame. But I think for a team in League Two, like
Grimsby,
you can see him going Grimsby, couldn't you? With the links we've got
Grimsby,
now.
for example, I think he'd be a real asset. But yeah, for me, under 21s player of the season, Stan Ashby won the actual academy player of the season for the club, but he's not played enough home games for the 21s, which are the only games we get to watch, really. For me to sort of say it, to have seen it consistently, making his debut and stuff is obviously massive. But yeah, Ollie Green. That's my pick.
Solid shout.
Academy over.
I had gone Morton, but actually, if you mention in terms of the other young players, Delap makes much more sense. I think Delap's probably been a bit more consistent than Morton, so I'd happy to go young player Delap. Or, I mean, I have Philogene as best signing, so that's the way of mentioning, because I think we've already done our player of the season a few episodes ago. That'll be Greaves for most of us. Greaves, Philogene, Delap, mentioning all three of them. That's the way to do it. Yeah, Kyle's been good, but not for this category. Anyone else need to mention anyone, or was it just Delap, Ollie Green,
Delap, yeah.
and
Billy Sharp?
Else we said? Billy Sharp, young in which category? Yeah, the Iron category. Yeah,
he's a spring chicken in that care home.
Yeah.
Aaron Connolly, night owl specialist. He'll get that
one. Favorite moment of the season. This could be literally anything. All bets are off for this.
I don't know. I think there's going to be a common winner in this one.
I think one of the favourite moment ever would be Jacob Greaves' solo run to score. That'd have been my moment of the season if it happened. But
yeah,
I think
that would have been. Yeah. I might have died on the spot if that had happened.
Yeah. But I'm going to go for the Greaves brace against Huddersfield. I think that's my favourite moment of the season. Or the Roberna, like Alan just said there, Philogene against Rotherham.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I've gone the two late winners we've got scored against Huddersfield because I hate Huddersfield, and you hate them more than me, but I hate them.
So,
And to score two late winners against them, in the same season and getting relegated. The second best moment of the season for me would be Huddersfield getting relegated. That's pretty good.
have you copied me? What?
Oh no, because I went there for university, right, and I know what sort of dump it is. So
You're not the only one who went there for uni. I did too.
well, indeed, bless us, poor us. Birmingham going down third best moment.
My favourite moments are a bit more. Well, a couple of them I've written in a row. Like I said, the Greaves winner against Huddersfield. In fact, both Huddersfield games being won in the very death. Both of them, obviously, the 98th minute in the home game, Delap, considering we should have won that like 7-0. What did you say, Joe?
Cleanest knee slide I've ever seen, by the way.
Oh, that was a good one.
It was a nice one, that. But I've got that written down. Seeing, you mentioned Huddersfield, but personally seeing Birmingham go down after the way that they've reacted to sacking John Eustace and all that.
We're getting compared to Birmingham already, and we're not even hired a manager yet.
And seeing Plymouth stay up as a result, because I knew we weren't in the playoffs, so I want to bother about that. Then there's a couple of other things like stuff I've seen personally because I've obviously want to brag again. I get to go in the press room, where it's part of Westall FM's humble wave radio, as they know. But some of the stuff that I've seen and chatted about in there, which I probably can't talk about, it's very funny. I mean, the funniest is probably when Cardiff's manager, what's the name of Cardiff's manager, the Turkish guy? Yeah, he went into a massive sweary rant after we beat them. That was quite funny. That's probably, but there's been plenty of stuff that happened in that room. That was great.
The lap score against Leicester's up there for me as well. Because the atmosphere, I think, in that away was probably the best I've had this season as well.
Just Noah Ohio as a whole, just his whole demeanour.
He's awesome.
Just love him. And a late one that came in that I saw someone mention on Twitter when they'd done a list themselves, and it was funny when it happened, but Kieran McKenna having a meltdown when Ohio scored against Ipswich, and just trying to punch through the plastic perspex on the side of the sub bench.
That was a pretty good moment. For me, Longman scoring a winner against Leicester was also pretty good. No, can I actually, seriously though, I do want to change my favourite moment of the season. Every podcast I've recorded with you guys has been my favourite moment.
Thanks.
You lying get.
I knew I was going to get that. Yeah. All the abuse I got from Sheffield Wednesday fans after I said we'd beat them 9-0.
Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that. That was one of my favourite moments.
That was quite funny. Because even I was on the episode, I said nothing in that clip.
Mine was I put in loads of exclamation marks and capitals Greaves at Huddersfield away. That away end was just. I said straight away after that game that as he was walking back, I just wish I could relive that goal for the first time again. Just it was the pandemonium was just it was something else that day. That was amazing. But the Philogene Rabona, which would probably be the most common one, and I've just put Ohio's goals because the three he scored gave us something like the win at Rotherham, the win at Coventry, and then obviously taking it to the final day at Plymouth. I just love the guy. I want him to sign forever. I don't care if he never scores another goal.
Even he's got trampoline foot there. I mean,
even though his first touch goes to the moon, sign him. He's just vibes, isn't he? That's what he is.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need.
He's clearly a great influence to have around the team.
Players have it's always got a smile on his face.
Yeah, you look at the behind the scenes videos and like training and stuff. That guy, he's just making everybody else just in hysterics, just being like him. I think he's the kind of character you need in a dressing room.
As I've previously said as well, he's mates with Jude Bellingham, so you never know.
Or get a higher move to replace.
You might get Job.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
Now, of course, I don't know whether we're doing least favourite moment, but it might just be joint with the next potential category, which I think we are all going to agree on. Worst refereeing decision against Hull City this season.
There's a
Sponsored
lot.
by EFL.
Really, it's which Norwich game do you want to choose? I think, and which one in
I
I mean,
am gonna
the Connolly one.
it's the Connolly one.
Yeah, it's the Connolly one. It's either the Connolly
It's
one.
Angus Gunn going full Harold Schumacher on Aaron Connolly.
I'm guessing a free kick.
That is,
The-
yeah.
it's-
That is-
it's gotta
All
be-
the Morton red card.
That was my other
That's
choice.
up there, yeah.
The
That's up
Morton
there
red
as
card
well, yeah.
against Wednesday because it was rescinded, so clearly it was the wrong decision.
I think though it's got to be Angus Gunn killing Aaron Connolly's Hull City career,
Yeah.
or Janulis's elbow on Louis Coyle
In the same, like 10 minutes later.
and then like 3 seconds later they scored. But I've got a couple more candidates for favourite moment, if that's okay.
Mhm.
Go on.
The Plymouth pitch invasion, where
Yeah,
one man
I like seeing them. I did like seeing them stay up against us and bet.
it's not even that. It's very specific. A video of a Plymouth fan as he ran on the pitch, giving it large to Ryan Alsop, and Ryan Alsop wanting to absolutely deck him.
Should have done. He should have been full on flaunting.
I think Ant's favourite moment has to be the Joe Brown or Dan Briggs clicking scheduled tweet on the Billy Sharp announcement. I'm sure you were ecstatic at that when that got tweeted out.
Do you know, there was the leak first, if you remember. I actually think someone got sacked because of that. They put training ground photos, didn't they, up in December, and someone spotted Sharp in the background, and that's how we all started to clock on that he was sacked. I think they had to announce it early, didn't they, because of that.
Yeah, they announced it like in December.
Yeah. And some lass, I think, went on some rant on LinkedIn about City because she ended up getting sacked for it or something. I'll have to have a look and find it. Billy Sharp cost someone their career.
And finally, the one I have actually picked is Zaruri's goal against Leicester at home. Purely because about a minute before that, I was saying to the people we sit with after he'd done something stupid, oh, for fuck's sake, why do we play Zaruri? Because if we put him on the left and Philogene on the right and he's less effective, goes up the other end, scores. I'm like, oh my God, he shut me up, hasn't he?
Yeah, I did that. That was a regular basis for me in the stadium.
That
Mark and Nick will tell you.
to everyone at some point.
That Zarori, the Leicester game as well, it was the exact same for me. That every time he got the ball, and like I just remember he did one absolutely awful pass. He went off the pitch. And I turned around to my uncles that stand with me. I was like, I cannot believe he's still on the pitch. And then literally the next attack, it came to him and he popped it in the bottom corner. I turned around and went, why did he start every game? And everyone around me was pissing themselves. So yeah, that was quite funny.
Lakilo actually scoring a goal. That was fun.
I wasn't
I wasn't there for it though.
The
Yeah.
FA Cup. Yeah. I mean, Zaruri is happy that we signed Sharp. Otherwise, I think he would probably be worth signing in terms of someone who actually played games.
On Lakilo.
Nah, Lakilo.
True. I
On
suppose.
Lakilo, when he actually scored that goal, I was sat with an unnamed academy player who asked me what the score was, and I said 1-0. Lakilo scored. He went, "Are you taking the piss?"
Do you think we could actually let's rewind to worst signing? Do we think we could actually stick Alsop in there?
Can I argue it?
He's had good
He is
games.
he
Lakilo did.
is top of all the worst
I would
charts for
say
goalkeeping
no.
in the division.
I would say no. Not
Literally top of all the. You find a chart that you don't want to be top of, he's top of it.
True.
I would still say no, purely based on the triple save against, was it Middlesbrough?
He had a couple of good saves.
That's true.
Yeah,
But-
that alone puts him
That's-
above every other name we've said.
That's a moment of the season. As
course.
people have said, Huddersfield, I'd go triple save at Middlesbrough. That was good.
Plus for
Yeah.
also clean sheet on debut against Leeds, made a brilliant
He was
save in
good
the
that
first half, and man of the match the following game against Stoke. And it was only a few games after that when we thought, oh, what are these Cardiff fans on about? He's all right. As soon as we all started to think that and be solid in that opinion, downhill it started to go.
Pretty much. I mean, I've got another one here. I don't know which one it would be. Funniest moment of the season?
I mean, that goes with some of the ones I've already said.
Tufan
Maybe-
punching the
maybe-
ball
maybe-
into the net
That's a good one.
and scoring.
That was quite
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
Mine is before a game. It was the Leicester home game. Liam Rosenior, there was a big crowd of people there wanting autographs and stuff. And Liam Rosenior's driving in and he needs to reverse into his parking spot. but people aren't moving. So he had to get out his car and tell this group of people stood in front of his car, guys, I will sign for you, but I need to park my car first. So get out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, it was actually 2 seasons ago now, but one of the funniest things I've ever seen on a football pitch for Hull is Ryan Woods whistling for the ball rather than asking for it in the midfield.
I thought you were just going to say Ryan Woods playing.
Well, true.
My funniest
Ryan Woods kicking someone at Exeter City this season, that was pretty good.
My funniest moment of last season was when outside the ground after a game, I was mistaken for Ryan Woods. That felt horrible in the moment, but afterwards it was so funny. Then I went back into the stadium and spoke to Harry Vaughan about it, and he said, "Oh, Woodsy's not a bad guy to be compared to." And I said, "Well, yeah, he's a footballer and he makes a lot of money, but he also doesn't look anything like me."
Also, he's not a good player, is he? So no one's going to be like, "Oh, Ryan Woods."
I'm sorry, but you clearly look like Paul McShane. You look like Stephen Quinn. You look like.
Hey,
anyone with strawberry.
Actually,
if anything, Sam Clucas is the closest.
That's true.
Brendan,
Yeah,
every time I see Brendan, he says to me, "How you doing, Clucas?" Or "Oh, you all right?" and stuff like that. So I've got to find something.
I'm going to say funniest moment of the season. I rather enjoy the North Stand complaining that the ball's not in the corner spot every single time and making the ref go over. I do find that funny. I enjoy that every game.
Genius.
Yeah, I think some refs have clocked on and don't even listen, but sometimes no, because we make the point of doing it every game, so that the ref wastes his time. That's the point in it. It's not genuinely saying the ball's out, and then I think a couple of them clocked onto it and go over and stop doing it entirely. But every now and again, when they go over and check, I think it's quite funny. And then I think we did it on the last game against Ipswich, the South and the East stand down that bit. We did it one time. That was quite funny. Yeah, I enjoyed that personally.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone else? No, we can move on to goal of the season.
That's great, isn't it?
My mate Josh bullying some stewards is up there. By bullying, I mean joking.
Unsung hero, the steward in, I don't know what stand it is, that was doing the rounds on Twitter for always smiling at the fans. I don't know if other people saw it, but yeah.
That's nice.
That's nice.
Yeah.
On a personal note, the funniest moment of the season is absolutely the group of us who go early to the game, going into Tiger Leisure and taking a load of autograph cards. That was quite funny.
Yeah.
Lee Walker in there.
Josh swiping 71 Bora Eidenlet cards into his bag just so I can't have them. And saying, as he did it, "Unlucky you ginger C-bomb."
Nice.
And then walking out the shop with his head down because he was so embarrassed is top tier.
Lovely. Funniest moment of the season, not for me, but maybe for other people. Longman open goal miss against Grimsby in pre-season.
I forgot about that. Oh my god!
Yeah, he did.
That wasn't even funny. It was just tragic. I feel bad for him at this point.
Yeah,
I forgot about it, to be honest.
Yeah,
I raised it.
That game was so weird because it had a different format.
Well, yeah, the quarters was so weird, wasn't it?
2 hours, wasn't it, of football against Grimsby?
4 30-minute quarters, yeah.
Spending any more time in Grimsby than you need is horrible anyway. But so to all the people in Grimsby listening. Goal of the season. I've gone Ant Northgraves against Sheffield Wednesday. I think. I mean, you would go Philogene. I think if there's debate over whether it's his goal, I don't know whether I can give it goal of the
season. I think there's like it's like sort of preference. Like, do you like a long range scream? Would you like a solo run? Or audacious flick or something like that. Yeah, I think it's.
Yeah, you either prefer like an absolute thunderbolt from a range or someone running the length of pitch or a passing move. It's all down to.
I'm going to go for one that's probably going to get selected, and Philogene v Preston, that solo run. I just love that goal. Like, finishing on this left foot as well. Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to really quickly go backwards to the favourite moments bit and anything that. Seri's fashion sense. That man is a baller.
Favourite moments, yeah.
And I loved his Morpheus cosplay at the awards evening.
how he turned up for no other player would get away with turning up like that for.
He looked like someone who'd be on the door at the Phoenix Club. It was fantastic.
And he earns it.
Anyway, yeah, best
He rocks
goal.
every outfit he does.
Best goal, Will?
Yeah, choose a Seri one though. Seri.
And North Graves against QPR.
Oh, that's a good.
That was the goal.
That's
That was
Seri-
the actual goal of the
Seri's
season,
goal
wasn't it?
I think
the
that
actual goal of the
celebrated.
season?
Yeah, it did win goal of the season, but I think that Seri goal, I think I might have celebrated more than any other goal all season from memory when he scored that.
Every single time Seri is on the edge of the box and everyone shouts shoot.
I always shout no.
I always shout
Right.
shoot.
Has he ever got one on target? I don't think he has.
No, never. But even when he was inside the box, he still managed to nearly sky it. It went right in the top.
He smashed
corner.
it right into the top corner, right into the roof of the net.
Yeah.
Beautiful finish.
That's probably one of my favourite goals.
Actually, yeah, you know what? That's my goal of the season, just because it was Seri.
Yeah, awesome.
I've
Actually,
said
funniest moment as well is the Seri video where he said, "Dads, I do play dads." That was funny. On that dart video.
Yeah, I've gone Philogene, either one of his goals against Rotherham, the back heel or the Reburner. The Reburner, I think with the deflection, I think that's why it didn't get included in like the Sky Bet one. And
Puskas would have done, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, being in that away end, it looked like it went straight in from his Reburner, but when you look at the replays, it does look a little nick. But the back heel was audacious. But yeah, I said with Tom, I said with Preston at home, I just think that it's been such a long time since we've seen a player that can just pick the ball up from his own half, run the mid length of the pitch and score like he did. So I like those kind of goals. But the Cavalier one at Cardiff as well, the passing move, I did enjoy that one.
Yeah.
Very nice
All
goal.
sorts
Yeah.
of lovely goals this season. Now, before we get on to rating the season out of 10, I mean, I've always been tracking who's scoring the most goals. I just thought I'd use the.
Just wanted to get the graphic on the screen, didn't he? He wanted an excuse to fire up that app.
It's
It
the
needs, to be
best 11
sponsored,
you've ever
it needs to
done.
be sponsored by that app, I think.
Chosen 11.
Yeah.
It's a browser.
It's
It's
the
a
best
web page,
11 you've
actually.
ever done.
Yeah. What's it say? 2, 2, 1, 2, 1,
Spine's
1,
on there,
1.
Jesus Christ.
Greaves
Yeah.
has scored more than 2, hasn't he?
No.
No, he's got the 2 against Huddersfield, and that's it.
God.
Is that the only 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He should have had more.
I can't remember Tyler Morton scoring. When did Tyler
He scored
Morton
against
score?
Rotherham. and
Norwich, Swansea.
Rotherham.
Yeah, Norwich was it? Rotherham. Yeah.
the Rotherham game at home. So yeah, I think crazy that Carvalho coming in playing 20 games is only 3 behind the top.
Do you
goal
agree
scorer.
that? Do you reckon Delap would have been top scorer if he didn't get injured for like 3 months?
I'm not
Probably.
sure.
Would you
I think
say
Probably.
depends if you're saying the same, if we're discounting injuries, how many more would Philogene have got?
He would have got 1 or 2, wouldn't he? I don't think.
I
Delap
think
would have got 15.
with the Delap one, it's you've got to look at the quality of players. He scored 7 before he came. Obviously, that 8th was against Ipswich, but he scored 7 before his injury. And then we've sort of upgraded the quality of the squad and potentially the assists for him. I think he could have been 15 to 20 goals personally, Delap. But similarly with Philogene, he'd have been 15 to 20, I think, without his injury. And Connolly didn't play for the best part of 6 months. So he could have been in double figures.
Yeah, Connolly's 8 before January is remarkable when you consider. Yes, he made some appearances, but he barely played a minute.
Like Ben Away, one that sticks out for me, and that was
Yeah, I was that day.
get the
that
contract.
away day was phenomenal.
Yeah.
In
I
terms
was,
of starts, he's definitely got the best ratio, hasn't he? So yeah. And then I've made this as well. Potential thoughts of what the lineup in next season might be, but to be honest, we probably have to do this after we know what manager. And I mean, it's just a guessing game, really, because we're apparently going to sign 8 to 10 players.
I'm unsure about Abdush on the left. But
Yeah, I was just going to say Abdush left is interesting.
Well, should he be on the right then? It doesn't really matter. He's on the wing. Yeah, he might be in the middle equally. So, yeah, I think we'll get on to reviewing the season out of 10 or 5 or 7 or just or a letter grade.
Are we doing it 5 stars or out of 10?
out of 10.
Out of 10.
Out of 10, I think.
And also, I don't usually allow, as the host, I don't usually allow 0.5s but I'm going to be nice. I'm going to give you 0.5s today.
Is that because you want to use a 0.5?
Yes.
So predictable.
Yeah. Well, and I'll let you go first.
I went for 7. I don't know. Like I said, because it's a weird one. Because I think before the season started, you'd have looked at 7th place. You'd have probably said 9 or 10. But then, obviously, January onwards, we were disappointing considering the players we brought in. I mean, the thing that sticks out in my head is that bad run over Christmas and then finishing the season with 3 wins from 13 games. Just how it fizzled out. It was just such a disappointing sort of second half of the season that after those, like that week where we won 3 away games, the optimism was there. We seemed to be on the right track.
The Rotherham game, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, Rotherham, Huddersfield, Southampton. It was those wins sort of seemed to catapult us to a point where we thought, do you know what, it could really be on. And then it just we couldn't fix our home form. I mean, away we were brilliant, at home we were just so lacking. But overall, we finished 3 points outside the top 6. So the fact that we're sat here frustrated that we didn't do more, yet finished 7th place, I think is telling. So you've got to consider it a positive.
Would you have given it a little bit more if would it finish 6th then? Like, would you give it like 8 or something?
Yeah. I think 8 or 9. If you make the top 6 when your aim at the beginning of the season was top 10, and then obviously January the aim was top 6. If you get that aim, then that's the success. That's a successful season. So it's 8 or 9.
Absolutely, Joe.
I agree with Ant with 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that as well.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Will.
7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm going 7.5. I think if
it was, I personally enjoyed the season, but and I thought we finished well above where we were. I mean, the football wasn't at the time. There was a lot of poor results, you can say, but I think there was personally a lot of positives from the season, and I think. I mean, Rossini getting the boot has put a bit of a downer on the whole thing. Obviously, we don't know who's going to replace him, so it might not matter. But overall, I enjoyed it. But obviously, you can't say it's like an 8 or higher if you're not in the playoffs, really, from where we were.
I suppose so. I would have gone 8 had we flipped the home and away form. But with the home form, those are the games I see, and a lot of them were actually, if you look back at it, they were pretty dour.
Yeah, I mean,
scraping wins at times as well.
I think when you look at seasons, you either look at them from a results perspective. I mean, you either look at them from a results perspective or like the entertainment that it gives you throughout the season. I think the problem with playing crap at home and really good away is that the vast majority of Hull City fans attend the home games. So that's the place where you want to be playing your better football and winning games. And unfortunately, when you look back at all of the home games, how many times did we walk away thinking, God, that was dire? How many times did we say we're too slow, we're too passive, we don't ask enough questions?
Even when
we'll
we
come
won
out of games out,
Kristen, maybe Huddersfield.
Yeah, like the Millwall at home, we were poor. Like it's just we were coming out of games out even having shots on target. Do you know what I mean? That's so there are times where you have to sort of filter in the fact that we are a business for Adjan at the end of the day. If he wants big crowds and he wants to retain people in that home stadium, that's not the way to do it, is it? People aren't going to attend these sellout games, watch them kind of performances and go, yeah, I'm going to come back here on a membership basis, are they? So that's his logic behind that. But
what he needs to do is change the name, because as we know, City is a redundant word. So he needs to change something more exciting.
Hull Scorers.
Not this again.
Tigers. I think Hull Tigers could work. I think that could be onto a winner with that choice.
Hull Turkeys.
Manchester Hunters was the other suggestion.
It was, and obviously Man City needed to change their name to have success. Because look at them now. They're a failure, still called City.
Just think how more marketable we would have been with Hull Tigers.
Why are we even giving this a platform? No more. Alarms have gone. You said it, Will. You said it in the chat.
United.
Taking the piss, that's why.
Yorkshire Amber and Sock. Yorkshire Amber and Black's like Pro Evo.
Oh, yes.
Yorkshire Orange.
Yorkshire Orange.
East Yorkshire Stripes.
Yeah. Or just drop the city bit. Hull FC, is that name taken?
Oh no.
No.
I
So many
mean,
times.
The
You don't want to. You don't want to take
You
that
don't
name
want
off
it
the
in a
team,
minute.
mate.
I mean, we'll do a lot better with it than they are.
Well, I mean, I think the next episode we're probably going to do is when whoever the new Hull City manager is announced, and then we'll probably do to Germany and back. But I think for now, that's the end of our coverage
To
of.
Germany and back. That's what we're going to
This
call the Tim Walter episode.
Are we not?
Well,
Are we not comparing the predictions?
Have you forgotten
yeah.
We're
this?
not gone.
oh, go on then. Go on then.
You wanted to get away from what
I don't think.
have.
Was it
I'm
only
gonna
you
play
three? Was
Fortnite.
it only you three that did them there?
Now, yes,
I don't think
it was
possibly,
from the pre-season. It was
I think I
pre-season
missed
preview
that. Yeah. I was
me
aware.
and Nathaniel did, or with Tigers Down Under, back on 29th of July.
Big up
So
Tigers Down
also-
Under.
take that date into account.
Oscar top scorer. Someone's put.
Take that date into account as I read these out. So the best signing back then, contact Anne, would be Vinagre.
No, I'm having that for the assist for Delap's goal.
Where's he
Against Huddersfield.
Is he in Italy? I haven't even checked in on.
Yeah,
how he's
Hellas
done.
Verona.
Well, let's go. Nathaniel, you also said Vinagre would be the best
He's
signing.
played 10
You actually
games.
said Vinagre or offering one with a new long contract is actually what you said.
He's gonna agree with that now, though, isn't he? This dude.
And I, thank God,
contract.
thank
Who's your
Christ,
Will?
because I said Delap. Thank
Yeah.
Christ.
Good
Thank
signing.
Christ.
That's the only reason why.
Out of
That's the only reason why he's brought it up.
Out of the
Oh,
ones
no,
that
no,
we
no.
made,
No, don't you worry. There's some bad ones in here for me as well. Here's one that was mentioned. Who would be the most improved player over the season? Who was okay previous season, but we look at as
Who do you reckon it is?
players at the end of the season.
Louis Connor,
Ant said Alia. Nathaniel
Outstanding.
said Regan Slater. At least he's still here.
It's better than Ali, isn't it? Yeah.
Well,
It's better than my choice as well because I said Adama Traore.
Oh dear God!
Oh.
Nathaniel's got the best.
Yeah,
one.
but if you remember, to be fair, at the time, at the end of last season, Traore had had that run at the end of the season where he looked all right,
Yeah.
Traore.
and then that was the
Traore's
last
a-
time people played well. Player to break through from the academy. Ant said Jim Sims, so he actually picked an academy player. That's always a good sign.
Jim now
He never played for us.
plays for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both me and Nathaniel both picked Smudge, Andy Smith.
And he went all
Who I
over.
think
Yeah, that,
He
I
played
don't
the
think-
game.
I don't
He played
think
the
that
game.
counts. He's been on loan at Grimsby last 2 years.
Yeah, but he never played for us.
No, he played the game, so that
Carabao
counts.
Cup.
At the time, he
He's not on the
never
bench for
played
6
for
months.
us.
Oh, that was a horror game that from him, but it was a horror game for everyone to be fair. So.
This was an interesting one that came up, and it was quite weird listening back. At the end of the season, will Rossini still be in charge?
Oh no!
Did we all say yes?
And in hindsight, it's an incredible question now. And we all, of course, said yes. And technically, he was. Technically, he was in charge.
He
at the end of
was.
the
He
first
was
game.
there at the end of the season.
But that was some incredible foresight, possibly. Let's have a look.
Wow.
Top scorer.
Oscar.
Yeah.
Oscar, yeah.
Ant said Oscar, as did Nathaniel.
I said pretty sure.
I actually said Connolly. I'm surprised at myself for that. I don't remember
was
saying
it?
Connolly.
One point
You
of
know
the
what?
season, he
Out
was.
of the players we had at that time, Aaron Connolly was the joint top scorer. So that's a very good call.
No, didn't we? When did we sign like Philogene and?
It was a month
And
later.
they
wasn't
tried to
it?
play deadline day.
Oh yeah, it was yeah. So yeah,
That's the
not a
thing.
bad show.
At the time when we did this, we had signed like Vinagre, Delap,
Need to do it like literally
Lakilo,
deadline
maybe.
day.
We hadn't signed many, to be fair. So it's
Too far into the season, though, isn't it?
Hey, had Connolly even signed by that point, or was he?
He hadn't. I watched the episode and he hadn't actually officially signed. But
We just knew he was going
me
to.
and a couple of the Aussie lads all both picked him in
so
the hope
by
that
that
he did
point-
sign.
By that point, we'd signed Vinagre, Lakilo, a load of lads for the academy and DeLap.
Yeah.
And so
No one chose.
You can see why I went for Oscar.
Yeah, exactly. Oscar was an obvious choice at the time.
I stand by it. If Oscar was still here all season, I reckon he's top scorer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
He still would have been.
Yeah,
Last season's goal tally, he's still top scorer this season. He would have been.
Redemption arc next season for Oscar.
Do we think he'll be here? Do we think Oscar?
Yeah,
And
I think he will. Yeah.
if the team in Brazil don't sign him back here, then I think he will be.
Well, I think whoever the new manager is going to have a look at a lot of the players anyway.
Yeah, I think if you look at him, we need to sign a striker. But we got one. We just Virginia chose not to use him. So yeah, but I think he probably will just stay in Brazil.
There's still more horrible choices here.
Is there a worse signing one?
There isn't actually. There's only a couple there. There's a player of the season. This might be the worst thing that anyone said.
I think I said Slater, didn't I?
And I'm really sorry. You said Cyrus Christie.
Oh!
Right, listen. He was fantastic his first 6 months last season. I thought he was going to come back strong. I was so wrong.
The worst thing I've ever seen on this podcast, to be honest. He has
he was unlucky there, really.
He was vile this year. Truly shocking.
His injuries done him.
Consistent.
Sad to see.
Yeah.
It was exciting to watch though, like when he was just flying up and down. Yeah.
Yeah, you picked him for the same reason I picked Traore to be improved. Thought, he might do all right. No. Nathaniel, you're right. You did pick Slater. It's not the worst choice in the world, but he's clearly not player of the season.
No, he's been 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th best player.
Let me just get my smug face ready.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
I picked Greaves.
Great. Yeah.
Boo.
Oh, boo.
I picked the boring choice at the time, which was Jacob Greaves. And,
Boring.
I think Ham just tried to go a bit like Rogue with his.
Cyrus.
And then, finally, just where we'll finish in. Anne said 9th. Nathaniel said 10th. I said between 7th to 10th, likely 10th. So, we were better than that.
Yeah.
I win that one. I'm taking that one.
I'm going to
predict
we finish first next year. I'm going to stick to that, regardless of what happens. I'm going for it first.
You've ruined our chances.
Yeah.
Actually, quick question, Anne. Have you tallied up our predictions for the season? Our predicting scores?
No, I lost track of it a long time ago.
I think after the Stoke game,
I can post what the last table was.
Yeah. We just need to work out if anyone beat Will. We just go.
I probably actually won with my tactic.
I think you probably.
Yeah, whatever the last table was, that could be the final standing.
We won 19 games and 2 3-0s. So that's
10 points.
25 points.
Yeah.
24 points, sorry.
24 points. Which is probably more than anyone else.
25 points, fucking hell.
No, it's 24, isn't it?
19 plus 6.
It's 19 plus 4 because you get an
points.
extra. You get an extra 2 points per one, don't you? You get 1 point for a win. So it's not an extra 6, it's an extra 4.
Yeah, correct. Correct
Means it's
result
23
was
points.
a point and 3 score.
It's 23 points.
Was Will doing 3-0? He disappeared at the minute.
23. It's 23.
He's probably checking.
Sorry, I'm trying to find a noose.
It's 23.
Was Will doing 3-0 from Norwich right the way?
I predicted 3-0 in every single game this season.
And the last 10 of the last season, hadn't you?
Yeah, it was from the moment we beat.
Yeah. You was meant to do it until we won the Cardiff game. We won 3-0. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and then I decided to keep doing it.
You were top of the table and probably still are. So yeah. Paul says
anyway,
the most up to date table I have actually has me winning it by a point on 14. So yeah, Will's on 13. But like I said, I lost track of it ages ago.
Finishing on 13.
Well,
no,
you would have. We only won 3 of the last 13, Will. So yeah, you might have bottled it at the end there, actually.
Oh well.
One of them was 3-0 though.
True.
This is really riveting to all the audio listeners. I imagine.
I'm sorry. He's lost control.
Anyway, so Tim Walter.
Yeah.
Tim Walter's Tricky Tigers.
probably going to be the manager. He's odds on.
I like the sound of him.
I
do.
I think
Heavy metal football, gegenpress.
from what you can see, he's finished third in 2 seasons with Hamburg, which is impressive at the high end of the table, but equally not got promoted with Hamburg.
Fuck
who have the
Hamburg.
biggest
Ha.
budget.
But I listened
So-
to Talksport. The BBC Radio besides Talksport spoke to one of the German colleagues out there, and they said it's harsh to judge him on the Hamburg thing because loads of good managers have gone there and failed to get them promoted. There's something systematically wrong at that club, nothing to do with the management. Whereas
Bundesliga 2 is hard to get over.
Yeah, and it is hard to get out of. A lot of good teams have gone down there and struggled to get out.
Not for these boys.
So, but the thing I like about him is that it sounds like it's just going to be chaos, and I quite like after the season of home games we've had. I'm quite looking forward to the fact of coming to games and just not knowing what the hell we're going to witness because he seems quite a psychopath.
Be careful slightly what you wish for there, because
but
while I love Leonid Slutsky, that man was going to take us down.
Loved him. Lifetime contract. Get him back.
Yeah, look at the football.
Get him back.
Get
him back.
I remember a staff at my college. I was talking to him about it, and he said he watched a few clips, and he says when they're trying to get out from the back, Walter's teams just do consistently so many different rotations of players going into different places just to try and get out.
I've watched quite a lot of second division Germany, obviously being following St. Pauli, and they were a good side. They were unlucky, to be fair, annoyingly, but they sacked him in February, and they've done worse since they got rid of him. Yeah. They probably might have gone up this season if they hadn't done that.
I just like what interested me in more direct football, a bit more direct.
Yeah, that was literally what I was about to say. In that interview, what interested me was he favours passing out from the back, but he likes to mix it up and go long if he has to, which I think is something that Rosinia didn't do. Apparently he's very big on obviously switching wings, being very wide. Yeah. So he likes the player to go to one side of the pitch and then literally keep one player as far out as you can and just switch it across so he's got loads of space to bound into. It pushes his goalkeeper up to essentially become an outfield player. Yeah.
I think that'll be interesting with like Philippine players and Amer.
Apparently, he likes to push his centre halves into the midfield to contribute to the attack, and then the goalkeeper steps into that spot the centre backs left. So we could just be overloading like the attack with players.
Remember the Watford game though? When
But how many times is a centre back going to score from the halfway line? He was a bit of a freak, I think that.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it also results in stuff like curry vest as a street food. Pilsners and fucking Weiss beers as on the concourse.
But he's an absolute madhead as well. Like if you watch the videos of him, he's crazy. He's not going to like the EFL refs at all. He's a
mentalist.
He's going to be more. He's going to be suspended more times than Rossi. I think.
He's going to like literally drill it into these players like more than Rossinia.
Yeah, he's never going to be on the sideline, is he? He's always going to be in the stands. They might as well just give him a seat in the director's box and just accept he's got a season-long ban.
Especially with the decisions we get in this country at EFL.
Will, I don't know how much you know about them really, but are there any players from Hamburg that you think you could bring over?
That Glatzel striker.
There's probably a couple of them.
That Glatzel.
Benesh,
yes,
I think Slovakian. It's got 15 goals from midfield.
Yeah, there's a couple of players, but they're not the team I mainly follow, so I don't really look at the results. I just hope they'll lose every week. But there'll be some players in there. There's plenty of good players in the second division in Germany that you'll probably look at in general. So
I think with Germany and the Bundesliga first and second, it's probably not as big a gap. So
it isn't. No, it's very close. There's a lot of teams in the second division who have won the Bundesliga. So
yeah. So maybe we'll start recruiting from there. And of course, there is sort of German and Turkish. I feel like those.
There is a slight connection there. Yeah.
Gundogan and Özil, etc. So there might actually be some Turkish players in Germany. There is actually.
It's like their second most common nationality in Germany is Turkish.
Ozcan.
Yeah, both.
Really promising young kid. I think it's Nuremberg. I think he's called Can Özcan. He's a promising young Turkish player. I think.
I think there is actually a team in the 3rd or 4th division of Germany that is like named Turkey something because there's so many of them. So yeah, I think actually that might work out in our favour there potentially. So,
But we don't tend to actually go for that. We signed what 4? If you count Bora, which I don't think we really should.
we've signed a lot
so
of players
two-
who've been in Turkey, but not
Tufan
made
and
Turkey.
Omer have been decent ones. Cynic's just been an absolute waste of space, and the rumours that he's going to get another chance annoy me.
But then we've also had
Yeah, yeah.
Lakilo, Seri, Traore, Pelkas, and Oscar who've all played in Turkey as well. So we have taken a few over there who've just played in Turkey as well.
I think I'm most excited to see, like, say if we do get Walt, I think I'm most excited to see what he does with like Oscar. I think he could turn into a beast.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's what he does with the players. It's what he does with those fringe players who we might have thought were going to leave. But
Yeah, if you're overloading the attack, Oscar's perfect because all you have to do is just stick him in the box where he needs to be. Don't ask him to do anything else. Just put him in the box. Yeah, like what we should have been doing with Billy Sharp. Just go in the box, stay there, and then hopefully we'll put that amount of crosses in that if one of them's going to fall to you, he's going to stick it away. That's the thing is with Oscar is he's a poacher. And then Rosini wanted him to play like Delap does, which he's never going to do.
Yeah. We've got enough like number 10s. You don't need a striker dropping deeper. You've got enough number 10s to feed the striker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They should be the ones in that space.
Yeah.
quite right. Yeah.
Fair?
Or he might not be the manager. We just don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. We actually don't really know.
Yeah,
He's
might
probably
be. I mean, he's looking
gonna get
likely.
Roman, but you never know. Someone else might get
end up being,
he might say no, but probably won't.
End up being Stevie Cooper's Barmy Army.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate that.
I'd like that.
Compared to Steve Cooper, I wouldn't be as happy with Walter, but you just don't know. I'm still going to back him. Regardless.
Chef Wednesday didn't know about Danny Roll. QPR didn't know about Fuentes.
Yeah.
You can also find examples of ones that don't work. Yeah. So that's what I mean. But I mean, a lot of people were saying he must be signing because we're talking about him in the press. Like apparently Tan's been talking about him, but we did the same about Pedro Martins.
Yeah.
You know.
But Pedro Martins would have happened had the wage not been a massive issue. And
Yeah, because he actually did come to City, didn't he? He actually watched us against Wigan.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then he went to Saudi because obviously, as you say, it probably was a wage thing.
Was it Saudi or Qatar he went to? It was one of the two.
The Middle East.
He went to he went to the Middle East. I'll say. I'm not sure exactly where. He went to the Middle East. He went where there's a lot of money. Essentially, he went.
Yeah.
Qatari side Al Jarafa.
Their nickname better be the Giraffes. It better be.
I think he was just taking the bit.
Is that a real team, Joe?
It is a real team.
If Kakamega Homeboys can be a real team, then El Giraffe can be.
Will, you're going to hate this as well. They're nicknamed the Cheetahs.
Oh, come
Why?
on.
They're currently 6th in the Qatar Stars League.
Oh, screw him.
This has gone off a tangent, hasn't it?
Good.
This has gone off such a tangent. It's unreal.
Nah, equally though, the Saudi league is just going to go the exact same way as China.
It's the Chinese Super League.
Investing money's fine. Invest money in the academies, and then you might actually have a good national team and good players from that country. You can't just base a team on 30.
The national team did beat the team that won the World Cup, to be fair.
When did Qatar beat Argentina?
No, Saudi Arabia, he was on about that.
Oh, true. And then they didn't qualify out of the group. So, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, they have better players than Qatar and China.
I hope Ozan gets in the Turkey. It's actually while we're on international. I hope Ozan are in the Turkey team going to the Euros.
Yeah.
I really do.
I don't think he will be.
I think
I'll be the team for a while.
he's made like 56 caps, I think, for Turkey too, so should be in with a shout. Sure.
He should be, but I think if he's not been there for a year. But Ömer will be there, so that'll be nice.
Ömer will be there.
I'll be supporting Turkey as my second team, definitely. Sweden.
We're going to have a player to shout for.
And I'm sure there'll be a player or two from the national team that will eventually become ours, or all of them. I keep saying that if we get promoted, that team becomes the whole City team. So,
Ozan Kabak at centre back.
Yeah, all of them. All of them. Well, anything else to mention on our awards, or we're just looking ahead to the new manager and the Euros now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
The final of the podcast of the season for us is between Will and Joe. The vote is live.
Oh, did I not make it?
No.
Sounds so disappointed. Will, you'll win that. Good luck, mate.
I won't win that.
No, you absolutely will.
I won't win
Ah,
that.
well.
You're better. No, you're better. Come on.
See, if I won it, I wouldn't have any of this. I'd be saying, yeah, I know I deserved it, but it's a fix. Shocking. Who
I
else
think
puts
if
the
I win
makes
it,
the
it's going to be
combined
you
lineups?
signing bounce bias, recency bias.
Since I sound like a broken record, my other thing is getting St. Pauli. I've already made it clear several times at this point. And Jackson Evans is our captain as well, and he's had a great season.
Oh, permission to be awful and evil.
Go on.
I'm delighted Luton have gone down because I cannot stand being wrong, and I'm happy that they've gone down because I predicted them to. So I've been hoping they go down all year, and they've been.
I think
they've had a good.
United and Luton were certain.
Yes, they've had a
I'll be
valiant
honest,
effort.
It's not exactly a hot take, Nathaniel.
No, but any other club who gets 26 points in a season would not be saying we've had a right good go. They'd be saying we've been crap, and so they've been crap.
I'm a big fan
The standard it's been shocking. Forest
I'm a big fan of Sheffield United breaking the Swindon record of going over 100 goals.
Yeah, and
I'm also a big fan of
5 fewer games as well.
Yeah, because back then it was a 22-team league, so they played extra games. And also, Man United are on the verge of breaking the shots conceded record that's held by Derby from 07-08.
My God.
They're just behind it.
That's a good start.
How can Manchester United... It's Manchester United as well. They've had way more shots
Sheffield
against
United not broken that one?
Because they've conceded more of theirs.
Oh.
It is kind of a crazy start, to be fair.
It's a pointless stat, but it's also quite funny, just to see the state of that club at the moment.
Also just shows just how bad Derby are, that even Sheffield United have got 6 more points than Derby.
I think the Sheffield United side is worse than that Derby side, possibly.
Derby would beat that.
Derby were getting dropped.
Yeah. But Sheffield United.
Anyway, I think that's everything.
I think we're getting into
we're just rambling at this point.
We'll end up splitting this episode into 2.
We're just rambling at this point.
45 minutes was actually the season awards, and then the last 45 minutes has just been rambling.
Just nonsense. Yeah. Well, Will and Tom, Joe, and everyone else who's appeared as a guest and commented in, thank you very much for your support this season and all your likes and viewing figures. And we hope you enjoy what happens next with the announcement of the new manager.
We'll probably see you next week.
Germany back, yeah. We might do another emergency podcast if he gets.
Final thing from me. It's been fantastic joining the team second half of this season, and looking forward to my first full campaign.
Yeah. Did you know it was on a short-term contract? Do we think Joe's done enough to keep his place?
We'll review
it. He's
been
the Billy Sharp of this podcast, so yeah.
We've actually just hit 550 subscribers today as well, so that's a good shout out. So thanks everyone.
1,000 before the start of next season.
No. People unsubscribe when they listen to the Berlin and Back podcast, not Germany and Back. Berlin and Back.
No, it's not. If it was the Olympics, it would be Berlin, and it's not. It's held everywhere. It's to Germany and back. We didn't do the. What's the capital of Qatar?
Doha.
We didn't do to Doha and back, did we? We did.
And that series failed, and that's exactly why.
Wonderful.
Anyway,
yeah.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you very much for listening.
In a bit.
See you next season.